Starting a new writing project is a lot of fun, but there's also a bunch of work that you have to do, at least for me, in the front end to help make the later stages a little easier. And one of those things that is a little time consuming, especially the first time around when you're writing your first draft, is maintaining and creating a style sheet. And I kind of wanted to show you examples of my style sheet, but this is a great way for writers to keep track of all the things they're trying to keep consistent throughout the book or throughout the series, if you're a series writer like me. And these things could be just descriptions of characters, their personalities, their flaws. It could be locations. And again, all these little details that you want to make sure are consistent from beginning to end, from the book or throughout the series, because readers will catch things, and especially inconsistencies. So here's a little example of my style. I designed my style sheets on Word. I kind of keep it simple in that sense, and I'm just going to walk you through the various sections and kind of explain why I keep track of certain things. The first one is any particular word that I want to note, especially go back to and reference repeatedly. I put in alphabetically. You can kind of see Atalanta, my main character of this particular Greek myth retelling, is already kind of blocked in, and put a little sentence or two about who she is, why or whatever the word is, so I know why I'm referencing it, and that's there. Below that is a little more in-depth section. It's a little chart pertaining to the people and the characters of this story. You can see my little example of Atalanta. She's from the location, place of origin of Arcadia, this particular region. Depending on the characters and where they're from in this particular story, it does matter and how they interrelate to each other, so I do want to make sure I track that personally for this particular series. Then I have physical attributes, personality, sayings, and speech. So anytime someone has a particular quirk that's a little bit their own, and this could be anything from a turn of phrase that they like to use, or even something like a speech impediment. But I put that in there just to make sure I note all those things. Flaws, motivation, deity lineage. I am working with a Greek myth retelling, and a lot of the characters are related to the deities in certain ways, be it gods or goddesses, so I do want to note that, because it becomes important to the characters and again how they relate to each other in the world. And again, it's a little extra section for anything I want to track beyond those categories. Now for locations, it's less categories that I'm kind of following, but anytime I have a location, this could be anything from a city, a mountain, or a region. We do talk a lot about regions. Again, the example of being Arcadia a little earlier, and I'll put in Arcadia, describe it as much as I want for the region, the location. If there are any subsections or specific locations within this region, I'll note that too. And again, cities, mountains, etc., so on. Characters from that region, and you can kind of see those are some things that I track. Beyond that is terminology. Any word that doesn't fall into the categories of people or places, I'd put that there. I do use certain words that are Greek or ancient Greek. I always try to add in a glossary at the end of my books in the back matter. So this is a place where I kind of keep track of some of those other words, that especially ones that I want to add into my glossary, and or the phonetic pronunciation guide that I'll also add in the back matter. So I kind of have a section there for the pronunciation guide, so I can kind of start blocking that in now, and it'll help me later on. If you have any questions about this, feel free to ask, but this is kind of my basic template to start with. And again, I can change it as I go, but that's where we are.